We are the team Zaca. Before I start and talk about our technical component, I want to spend a minute to talk about what the project is about. So we are focusing on a region called Zacatecas in Mexico. It's a mostly agricultural state where most of the people are farmers. What's been happening to these guys is they are relying on word-of-mouth system to get the market price information and produce information for any crop. And that's why when the middlemen show up, the farmers have no choice but to sell their crop to a price that is next to nothing. So in this project, we are trying to use a mobile technology using which the farmers will be able to get the market price, the selling price, and the produce information through SMS technology. Okay. That's kind of brief background of what's happening. So we have paired up with ITESM. That's a major technical university along with 33 campuses, I believe. So we're going through ITESM Zacatecas right now and hope to pair up with more in the future. And we're a diverse team comprising students from Harvard, Tufts, and MIT. Now, Scott is going to talk about the system architecture.
So here you can see the layout of what our system looks like. For the farmers, you'll see here on the top left, which this was a laser pointer. So the farmers will use a cell phone or a neighboring person's cell phone and simply SMS to get the information about market availability and market prices of crops. And you'll notice that around this schematic, you have screenshots of one of the prototype systems. So that's what you're looking at in each corner. So an agent, either with an SMS-capable phone or additional features, depending on what's available, will collect information about what crops are being sold and produced by each farmer. And that information is communicated via SMS to our database and server, which aggregates all of that information. Similarly, the server will also collect information from the commodity market to provide that real-time availability to the farmers so that they understand and are able to access what the prices are of crops at any time. And then the middlemen are the third variable in this equation where they will be able to visit the farmers, and the farmers will have that information about how much these crops are being sold for in the market, and that increases the price transparency.
So before I talk about what we have been doing, I want to spend a minute to talk about what we had before I came to the class. So last semester, we built a functional prototype that has been tested and deployed in the field. We went there in January, and these are some of the local agents that are trying out the system. So we also have trained a bunch of agents who know the system really well. They know how to design a form, how to put it into cell phone, how to work with the database. And overall, we had a successful trip, as you can see, in terms of evaluating our technology, deploying it, and getting live feedback. And now this semester, we have been working on,
We've been incorporating that information that we collected in the user feedback from that trip over January to customize the interface and adapt it for the local needs, such that it's clear for them to understand, in addition to not just being in English, but being in Spanish, so that they will actually be able to use it. And what's left to do, so we are working on cleaning up the back end. We've developed a simple administration website such that if any information does need to be changed or filtered or removed, that can be done. And right now, in its initial design, it was slightly too complicated and technical for what is actually needed in practice. So simplifying and improving that system, as well as hopefully returning to Zacatecas in the future in order to, again, demo our system and receive additional feedback on these changes we're making now.
And I just want to add that we already have the architecture in place. So we're working on adding features based on our partners' feedback. So they want to know about weather. So by sending SMS, they want to know the weather information. So we're thinking about how to incorporate that and additional information. We have been also looking into how can we send SMS through online. So right now the server is connected by a GSM modem. So whenever it sends an SMS, it costs us money. So if you can send the SMS by online, it will be free. So we are also looking into that to make sure that if that we can do, we can leverage a lot of our costs down. So with that, we'll let you know any other comment.
Yeah.
So we will be open to your questions. Sure, please.
I have a question which is not strictly technical. It is in a way. Is this a price forecasting mechanism, or does it also help at the beginning of the season to know which crops you actually need to plant?
That's an excellent question. Right? So based on the last year's production, you should be able to know. Right now, there may be 20 choices, and the farmers, they're different kind of choice. The safe choice, and so if you produce this crop, you will get benefit, but they may not be a lot of money in it. So by looking at the statistics, the last 5 years, they will be able to tell, okay, I see this crop doing well in this region. They will be able to make sure which crop to produce given a season. So you're right, yes. We should.
Is there some simple game theory dynamic that can be built into that?
I'm sure we can do that, but right now we are not looking into this at this point. We're trying to simplify this, but I'm sure with your feedback we can look into it.
Sure. I have two. Your user or your graphic showed all Java it looked like. What's the prevalence of Java on cell phones in Zaca?
Right, so that particular interface was built on top of Java, and that is for the agents to be using. And we assume that there will be one agent per thousands of people. And so that, first of all, low-end phones that do support Java are quite readily available. So we're taking advantage of that fact. And it's also possible to interact just with SMS.
I guess one of the things we're worried about is formatting. I think we've come up with a pretty good idea on how to fix that. Maybe you'll see our presentation when we get up there. But that's one of the concerns I had. And then maybe it would help everybody else out if you could show. You said your interface was, or your software was too complicated earlier in the first stages. I think a lot of us have that potential. If you could, graphically depict your software architecture somewhere that we could see it, it might help us to keep ours in the right level of simplification.
Sure. Right. That's good.
I mean, we have the PowerPoint slide that we can give it to you, which has the diagrams and everything. And we're happy to do a demonstration, perhaps, according to convenience.
Great.
Because last semester we spent a lot of time going through the same thing that you went through. What to use, what doesn't work, what doesn't. Now we know what works. So
I'm sure they can leverage off your experience.
Absolutely.
Well, in exchange, some of
What information source do you tap into to capture the commodity market prices? Is there an open source for that with an API, or?
Right now we're doing it manually because there is no unified source that you can go and we're going to use this. There are multiple sources, and somebody has to go through the sources and do the sanity check to find out what to enter in the database.
What are the actual sources?
Do you remember?
There-
There was one from Chicago.
Right.
There is one one provided by Mexican government, but that lags a few years behind. There is some people in the market who can tell us. So there are multiple sources, and we need to be able to find out what to enter based on that.
And those update constantly, or how quickly do they update?
It's a variable that we can change.